Hey friends, welcome back. So glad to have you back. What we're going to do today is we're going to talk about the parts of the guitar. So let's jump right in. We're going to be covering the parts of the guitar, and what I want us to do is I actually want us to reach out and touch the parts of the guitar together. I think that'll be really helpful for us, and we can divide our guitar into three main parts. So go ahead, you should have good posture, all that good stuff that we just talked about. Go ahead and pick up your guitar. Of course, you want to pull it in close to you, all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and talk about our three main parts of the guitar. So number one, we've got our headstock. That's this main part down here with all these other little components on it. And finally, we can start talking about not the long part of the guitar, but the neck or the body of the guitar. So the three main parts, we've got the headstock, the neck, which is this long part here, and then the body of the guitar. So those are the three main components. And there are little pieces in between, so let's go ahead and talk about those. So, the smaller parts. The headstock, we've got a few things going on down here. So, we've got tuners. There's 6 of those. Go ahead and reach out and touch the tuners. Mine are silver, yours can be white. They could be a bunch of different colors, blue, I guess. But go ahead and reach out and touch those. There's 6 of those. And you don't actually play the guitar with these, but you do control the pitch of the string, okay, so the overall pitch. But of course, you're not going to be playing the guitar with that. But we'll talk more about what that does later on. So that's the tuners there. Next, we have the tuning posts, which are these little things here. And what they do is they actually hold the string off of the neck of the guitar, so to speak. So the tuning posts, see, they kind of look like posts. So go ahead and reach out and touch those. Some are inside the headstock of the guitar. But those tuning posts, they are post-like, and they're holding that string up. So you can see that on yours as well. All right, now moving down to kind of in between the headstock and the neck here. This piece is called the nut. And so what the nut does is it actually holds the strings up off the neck of the guitar so that it's playable. So go ahead, reach out, and touch the nut. There's a component down here that relates to that, but we'll talk about that here in a sec, okay? All right. Moving down here to the neck of the guitar, so there are a few parts that we want to be familiar with. The frets. Go ahead and reach out and touch those, the frets of the guitar. And also, the frets are on something that's called a fretboard. So go ahead and reach out and touch the fretboard. That's kind of those spaces in between each fret. All right. Next, we have strings, obviously. So, but maybe not always obvious. But we've got strings. There's 6 of them. And again, those are attached to the tuning posts. They can be tuned. They're laying on top of the nut. They are over the fretboard and the frets. So those are the parts of the neck there. Let's move on down to the body of the guitar. Now, a few things we want to be familiar with. So first, we've got the sound hole. That's this hole right here. And depending on whether your guitar wood is light or dark, it could be a brighter, tinnier sound that goes in and comes out of the sound hole. It could be a darker, warmer, mellower tone that goes in, comes out of the sound hole, just depending on what kind of wood you have here on the front and actually all over the guitar. So sound holes, what that does, sound goes in, sound comes out. And then we've got the bridge. So the bridge is down here. It's this ginormous part, right? We can think of bridges as ginormous. So the bridge is ginormous. It's right here. And then on top of the bridge, we've actually got the saddle. So go ahead and reach out and touch the bridge, which is the large part here, and the saddle, which is the smaller part. Go ahead and reach out and touch those two things. And you can keep those two separate by remembering that you can ride a saddle over a bridge, but you can't ride a bridge over a saddle, okay? All right, let's keep going here. My guitar has 6 bridge pins. Go ahead and reach out and touch the bridge pins if you have them. Some guitars, the strings actually will come back underneath the bridge and come out over the saddle. But and a lot of guitars will have bridge pins. And that's actually, they're about this long, and they hold in the string into the bridge. So, bridge pins. And then let me just make a note here for electric guitarists. So electric guitarists, you'll have maybe some knobs, a couple switches, that kind of thing. Feel free to mess around with those, but for now, go ahead and set those to the middle because all we're going to be worried about in our time together is the volume knob, and you can go ahead and set that actually to a low volume so when you plug in, it's pretty quiet, okay? And then you can kind of go up from there, but be careful because we want to protect our hearing so we can play guitar for a long, long time. All right. So just to recap, today we talked about the large parts of the guitar, the neck, the head, and the body of the guitar. We also talked about some of the smaller parts as well. So really make sure that you spend some time with this, and we also gave a little note to electric guitarists as well if you're playing electric guitar. All right, next we're going to talk about fret numbers. But what I want to make sure that you do before we come back together is I want to make sure that you know all the parts of the guitar, and I want to make sure that you know them well enough to teach them to someone else. So again, don't practice until you got it. Practice until you can't get it wrong, all right? So go ahead and name the parts of the guitar until it's easy for you and you can teach it to someone else, all right? And then after that, move on to the next session. We'll see you soon.